Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, members of Bills Mafia, welcome into a post-game show off a game where you just feel sick to your stomach. You feel sick to your stomach, and if you're like me, you're trapped in the gulag, right? You're in your own personal living hell. As you can see, I'm in some sort of cave. It would be my parents' garage, but mentally it feels like it's a cave. It feels like it is an abyss. It feels like a living hell coming off of a loss like that, where the Buffalo Bills lose their fifth game of the season, 13-12 to the Philadelphia Eagles in a game that up until the end may have been considered one of the worst football games you've ever seen. So good to have you in. I've missed you guys. I've been incredibly sick. And when I wasn't sick, I was up here with the family celebrating Christmas. That's why you see me in the garage here, snuck away for a minute. And the reason I'm by myself is Rico will be joining you in about 20 minutes. I wanted to take the interim period between when Rico was supposed to come on and when there was that gap and hop on and talk to you, because this is one of those games where I had to get a little bit of a vent in. I had to get a little bit of a vent in. We were out of town. We're back up in Rochester. We brought Zoe up. First time that Zoe got to meet the entire fam. She's still getting to meet people. So we've had people coming and going like crazy. And it was really hard for me to do a full show today. But I looked at the clock and I said, all right, we got about 20 minutes. I told the fam, I said, give me about 20 minutes. So here we go. We got the wireless mic. We're in our own personal hell. We're in our cave. We're in our parents' garage, wherever you are mentally. Come and join me. So good to see you. Unbelievable. These Buffalo Bills, week in and week out, they are going to be the death of me. They're going to kill me. They're going to put me in an early grave. The only benefit to that has been they've been winning these football games. They've been winning these games almost routinely. It's absolutely incredible the way that they've been able to do this. You go back to week one against the Baltimore Ravens, you're down by 15 with less than 5 minutes left. You win the football game. You're down 21-0 to the New England Patriots. You win the football game. You're really getting outplayed by Cincinnati. You're down multiple scores at the end of the fourth quarter. You win the football game. They finally got me today, where I did feel, even though they hadn't done anything, they had done nothing offensively. When I say nothing, I genuinely mean nothing. I had thought about those other games. I had thought about what they had done in the second half of these other football games throughout the year. You've all seen the numbers. Their point differential in the second half is unbelievable. It's second to none. In fact, it is number one in the NFL. So you're looking at that. I don't have much trust in the Philly offense. I didn't have much trust in it going into the football game. You saw that today. They scored 13 damn points, but it was enough to get it done. You know, this is what happens where I will continue to be somewhat cautiously optimistic might be the best way to put it, but maybe the most realistic way to put it is cautiously pessimistic. When you're constantly winning these games coming from behind, it's hard for me to buy in. As you've heard me say on here, like when Rico said, the Bills were down 21-0 to the Patriots, and he said he never lost the faith. I mean, I sure as hell lost the faith. Sorry. You're down 21-0 to a team that's already beaten you earlier in the year. They've been the class of the conference all year long. Sorry, I didn't buy into that. I'm amazed they won. I couldn't be more stoked that they won. But you're not going to get me to come on here and lie to you guys and tell you that I thought that was going to happen. But here, of course, we are in this game where I can't lie to you. You know, it's only 13-0. Philly's offense is nowhere to be found the entire second half. They can't move the ball. They can't do anything. The Bills have a significantly they have a significantly better offense in the second half than Philly. I don't even think it's debatable. It's just no question about it. I had thought that they were going to win this game somehow in the end, and they really should have, and they didn't. And this is what sucks about being this type of fan, and I'm sure many of you can relate, where you haven't bought in yet, and then you finally say, you know what, they've done it all these other times. Why wouldn't they do it this time? It's set up to do it. And then, of course, once you convince yourself they're going to do it, they don't do it. Bills lose this one once again, 13-12 to the Philadelphia Eagles. Once again, it's a tale of two halves here. And I've been saying this throughout the season, and you saw it before the postseason, but this is one of my primary concerns here. This Buffalo Bills team is legitimately taking the entire first 30 minutes of the football game off. You cannot expect to beat teams in this league routinely throughout the course of a postseason, especially teams that make the postseason. Sure, maybe you can beat Cleveland that way. Maybe you can beat a team like Pittsburgh who might back into the postseason that way. You're really not going to be able to beat the class of the league 4 consecutive games in a row to win a Super Bowl when you take half of those games off. And it finally came back to bite them today. They took the entire first half off. Not a single shred of offense to be found. They made the biggest mistake of the entire football game in the first quarter, the fumble from Josh Allen. It completely altered the football game. It's the only time in the entire game in which the Philadelphia Eagles scored a touchdown. They had no offense. Don't get it twisted. You got Jalen Hurts, a Super Bowl MVP. You got Saquon Barkley, an Offensive Player of the Year. You got one of the best wide receiver tandems in the NFL in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Throw it all out. That offense this year has not been good. Unless they're playing the Raiders or unless they're playing a banged-up Commanders team, watch this Eagles offense against a legitimate team, and it's far from impressive, especially when you consider who's on that roster. I know their offensive line's banged up, but that is an all-star roster compared to what Buffalo's putting out on their end of things. I mean, you're looking at the wide receiver core alone. The Bills only have tight ends. Not only do you have a top 10 fantasy tight end in Dallas Goedert who scored the lone touchdown of the football game, but you also have maybe the best or one of the best wide receiver tandems in the game. Plus, you have a running back coming off an all-world season who many would consider to be a first ballot Hall of Fame type running back, right? You hold that team to 13 points, and the only points they score are off of that catastrophic, game-altering, horrendous fumble from Josh Allen in the beginning of the game. And, you could argue, as I did in the moment. I mean, I thought that the tuck rule or the non-existence of the tuck rule for starters, no one knows what the rules are anymore with anything. No one knows what a catch is. No one knows what a fumble is. No one knows what a first down is. I mean, no one really knows what anything is. You got Dean Blandino coming on telling me one thing while the crew on the field is telling me another thing. Then you got later on in that same game, the crew telling you the opposite of the other thing that Dean Blandino just told you on another call here. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's week in and week out. No one knows. Dean Blandino is supposed to be so in tune with the rules that, Fox, CBS, whoever, these guys are getting paid hand over fist to tell you what's going on in the game. He's telling you the complete opposite of what's going on out on the field for the guys that are supposed to be the ones who know everything like the back of their hand because they're the refs. That's besides the point. Whatever, because Allen shouldn't be in a monsoon trying to do everything all at once. And we saw it throughout the game again today. And in that moment, you got to just throw the ball away. It's whip and win. It's raining like crazy. You saw when they hit the turf, they might as well be jumping into a lagoon, and you tuck the ball down and you fumble it. It gets kicked 50 yards down the field. It puts Philadelphia in their best field position of the game. It's the only time they score all game long. So you're looking back at this one, and as bad as the Bills played offensively, they should have been able to win the football game based on what they did in the fourth quarter alone. But in reality, Philadelphia essentially won this football game based on what they did in the first quarter alone. It really only took that touchdown plus a couple of additional field goals. That's all it took. They didn't do anything in the first half. This game was 13-0 at half. They didn't score a single point in the second half, not one. But once again, it's a tale of two halves. And in the first half, this Buffalo Bills team, they're not just, underperforming in the first half. That is a bad football team. The first 30 minutes of the game, the Buffalo Bills aren't just, playing lesser than. They're not just, they're not playing mediocre. It's bad. And I'm telling you right now, it came back to cost them today. Luckily for them, it doesn't cost them a whole lot. It's going to cost them in the seeding. It's going to cost them, air quotes, the AFC East title. They weren't going to win it anyways. Did you see what New England did to the Jets today. They're not losing to Quinn Ewers in week 18, even though we all wanted them to. I understand that. I wanted them to, too. It's not going to happen, right? So, listen, I get all that. I really do. I didn't mean to do that, by the way. I get all that. It wasn't going to happen. This is why, honestly, if this game actually meant a little bit more, you wouldn't see the garage door behind me. I would have already ran through it twice. This is actually level-headed for me right now. The reason I'm a bit level-headed here is because I do know that the cost of that game isn't as egregious as maybe it could have been. I'm level-headed here. I understand they weren't going to win the AFC, so they weren't going to get the 1 seed. You know what, though? Now, you watch. Now, watch. Miami will pull off the miracle of the decade, and they'll beat New England, and whatever the hell else has to happen will happen just because the Bills found a way to lose that game the way that they did. But the main storyline here, and we'll get to the other ones before I got to sign off. The main storyline to me, much like all these other games throughout the year, it is the tale of the two halves. And we haven't had to focus on it a ton because we've been getting out of these games as fans with a blood pressure of 250 beats per minute, but in a good way. We couldn't be more excited about what we just witnessed. We're stoked about it. It's not until you lose a game like this that you understand how bad of a position the Bills are putting themselves in and week out in these second halves. What Philly just did, give them credit defensively. They were great against Buffalo in the first half in particular. And throughout the majority of the third quarter, it wasn't until the fourth quarter the Bills were really able to do anything. What else is new? But you're looking at these games, and you are quite literally spending 30 minutes of a 60-minute football game warming up, like getting acclimated to the – I don't understand. It is going to cost them in the postseason. There is no question in my mind. There's no way it can't. Unless they figure it out and find a way to at least play rudimentary, middle-of-the-pack football in quarters 1 and 2, you can expect this team to be packed up, getting on a jet to Cancun in week 1 of the playoffs, in the wild card round. I hate to burst anybody's bubble here, but are you watching Jacksonville? Are you watching Houston? Did you see Derrick Henry against the Packers? Okay. You cannot take a half of a football game off. No one's talking about Jacksonville. They're on one of the longest win streaks in the league. People are talking about Houston's D, but they're not talking about the fact that offense has been stepping up as of late. They are on the longest win streak in the NFL. I don't think Baltimore's had a great year. Nobody does. That goes without saying. But they just dropped 41 on Green Bay in a game where they were playing for something, right? Green Bay was still playing for that division. They were still trying to fight for a higher seed. Now they're going to lock in at the 7. And they got rolled with a backup quarterback. Lamar didn't even play. They put up 41. Derrick Henry had 36 attempts for like 220 yards. It was ridiculous. I've never seen a stat line like it. I'm saying all this to say, you take 30 minutes off, because people look at the Eagles and they think that that's the class of the league. That was the class of the league last year. Towards the end of the year, you saw it on full display. What they did at the end of the year and in the Super Bowl and on their run, it was it was world class. That's not this year's Eagles team. It's a lot more of what you saw today, just trying to get out alive. You watched that offense today, and I give the Bills defense credit. Almost every one of these games, the Bills defense in the second half has been extraordinary. It really has. The problem is in the first half, it hasn't. But you're going to be, you're not going to sit here and hear me bitching about the defense today. You allowed 13 points. And I already rattled off to you who's on that offensive roster for Philadelphia. And no, they haven't been playing well this year. And no, the first half for the Bills defensively wasn't great. The third down defense is still a legitimate issue. You're allowing multiple third and longs. And when you don't allow them, you're allowing them to convert through penalties, whatever. At the end of the day, when push comes to shove, you allow 13 points. You pitched a shutout second half and you lose. This was unequivocally on the Buffalo Bills offense. No question about it. I thought this was perhaps the worst outing of Joe Brady's 2025 campaign, and I think we can all agree that's saying something. I think we can all come together, and I think we can all agree that is saying something, folks. this was beyond bad. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Towards the end there, when they came out of the 2-minute warning and Joe Brady dialed up that bubble screen to Ty Johnson, I about walked off my parents' back porch. There's snow on the ground, so I have a bit of a cushion there. I about just walked off, almost like walking the plank. I almost just walked the plank out onto a nice bed of snow and just laid there. How is that what you come up with? How is that what you dial up? How is that what you do? And then you get bailed out by an amazing play. Now, here's the problem I have with that amazing play, that pitchback, right? That pitchback. The problem with the pitchback is that you've now ran it twice in that scenario. I think everybody knows it's coming now. So you're going to get into the postseason running this pitchback, and I'm afraid that they're going to see this coming. You ran it against Houston. You run it here. And in both those games, it got you into scoring territory to win, and you lose both the games. So you use that play in two spots, and you lose both the football games. I thought that this was easily Joe Brady. I thought it was just horrible. I thought it was just the lack of creativity is mind-boggling. I will say what the wide receivers were able to do today, this is probably the best outing that the Bills had from their wide receiver core maybe all season long. You had some incredible plays from Brandon Cooks. Tyrell Shavers made an unbelievable catch. You really did have some extraordinary plays made. But it took those extraordinary plays that the Bills really haven't had all year to score 12 points and ultimately lose the football game. Think about it like that. I mean, it literally took some of the best catches the Bills have had all year. It took probably the most wide receiver production the Bills have had all year. It took all of that just to score 12 points and lose the game. Dalton Kincaid, once again, doesn't play, can't stay on the field. Every week it's the same thing. A handoff, a bubble screen. Josh Allen, please save us. And Josh Allen's hurt, folks. Allen's hurt. He got hurt again today, by the way. He gets his foot/ankle stepped on. He was already hurt going into this one. And he got even more hurt in this game. And you can tell it's tougher for him to move. And you're still banking on the guy making an unbelievable. I mean, it's what it is. It's a handoff. It's a screen. It's Allen makes some unbelievable play. And to his credit, he did. Until he didn't. I'm seeing the comments, and I'll give you my take on this right now. You can blame Badgley all you want. You can blame Sean McDermott for not taking it to overtime all you want. At the end of the day, Josh Allen had Khalil Shakir wide open with a 4-step cushion on a defender. Any quarterback in the league can make that throw. Anybody can make that throw. And he flat out missed him. So if you want to blame the kicking situation, listen, Badgley's been bounced around the league getting cut. If you want to bank on that guy, then that's on you. If you want McDermott to bank on him yet again at the end of the football game, I mean, what did you want him to do? What did you want McDermott to do? The guy already kicked the ball so low on the first attempt that it was easily blocked. You're only saying that because Allen put that ball in the stands. You will never have an easier 2-point conversion than the one the Bills had to win that football game. And Josh Allen just flat out missed it. I'm seeing some comments, what is it? Drunk bot. I've been drinking Diet Coke all day. Okay. Right. This is what it is. People don't want to hear it. I got it in my Twitter mentions. It's all on the kicking game. If you have a kicker, well, here's the reality, folks. The Bills don't have a kicker. They got two kickers who are hurt. And here's what they do have. They have an MVP at quarterback. And that's a play that just absolutely has to get made. And all week long, Allen's going to get grilled for that. And I hate to tell you, but rightfully so. That is 100% deserved. You got to make that throw. You could say, well, he made this play and that play, and it's just unfortunate he didn't make that play. Well, that's the play you got to make. That is the play you have to make. Look, I understand if you make an incredible play like Allen does, where he's dinking, I mean, he's dodging and he's moving around and he's hitting the circle button and he's stiff arming and he gets it away and it gets dropped or whatever. No one's going to blame Allen. No one's going to blame anybody. They're going to say, hey, you gave it a hell of a try. You gave it a hell of a go. The guy is wide open. I mean, he's wide open. You could not have a better opportunity to win that football game in 100 attempts. If you ran 100 2-point conversions, that's the easiest opportunity you're going to have of the 100 attempts. There's just no question about it. I don't know how you miss it. When he did miss it, I thought they were going to show the replay, and I thought he was going to be, hit that I didn't see, or it got tipped and I just didn't happen to see it. You run it back and you literally cannot wrap your mind around the fact that he missed him. And he didn't just barely miss him. I mean, he missed him bad. And I can't believe it. Once again, it's a little less, it stings a little less, Rico, that game doesn't really kill the Bills in many ways. It just affects the seeding a little bit. And obviously it's not a playoff game. But I'll tell you, if that play happened in a playoff game, I mean, we're lucky it didn't. And as great as, and I do give Allen a little bit of grace. He's banged up. I mean, he is. It's visible. He can't move the same. And he's still out there giving this team an opportunity. But at the end of the day, you have a gift. I mean, that is a gift in this league. To have that easy of an opportunity to win the football game, that's a gift in the NFL. And it was completely squandered. And I can't believe he missed them. I really can't. It's weird. Sometimes for Allen, the easier plays are the hardest ones for him to make. It's kind of been like that a little bit throughout his career. Not always. But it feels like the harder of a play there is to make, it's more often than not he makes that. When it's an easy play, it feels like it's almost tougher for him than it should be. But that was right there. I'm speaking on the 2-point conversion here, Rico. I got people telling me that it's a kicking problem and it's a coaching problem. To me, it's a not getting the ball to a wide open receiver problem.
Who's making excuses of a kicking problem? I mean, the kicking was an issue. Offensive execution was an issue. But at the end of the day, we had an opportunity. There was a wide open Khalil Shakir routine pitch and catch play. Josh didn't set his feet. He got his eyes opened up. He rushed the throw into the dirt. There wasn't that much pressure on him. All he had to do, he just float that sucker. But that was kind of the theme for Josh today. He had some miscues and some throws where you're like, fam, I wish you could have had those throws back. But at the end of the day, 17 still gives you an opportunity to win. You have to go with 17 there. Like, there's no other way to do it. Josh gives you the opportunity. Now, would it have been nice for us to just have the score of the touchdown and hit an extra point to go and walk off? Of course it would have been nice. Now, this is Bagley's second week missing an extra point. He had an awful onside kick. Onside kick, every kicker's got different styles of how you set up. The minute I saw him stand there, I'm like, he's way too close to the football, meaning he's not going to have enough power or I don't know what kind of routine he's going to have. But that was an awful kick. He missed an extra point. It was just bad altogether. I mean, but are you going to blame it on him? No. Josh's awful turnover turned this whole game around. If not for Josh's bozo turnover, this is a whole different ballgame. This defense was absolutely lights out today. Lights out. But Josh is doing too much. Let me tell you something. Josh's turnover today was something that you would have saw Josh do 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. A young Josh Allen. You're too old for this shit. You're too old. You're too veteran for that. If you don't see it, if you looked at the play again, it was either Jackson Hawes or it was Dawson Knox. He was right there. It was just a little tight end leak in the flat. Throw it to him. Quick. Tom Brady would have hit that every day. But no, Josh is like, I'm looking for the gusto. And then tries to tuck the ball in, fumble. Dude, you gave them opportunity to put points on the board, and now you put your defense in a stressful situation. And then they give you the ball back 7 times. And you muster everything you can, and we lose the football game. I mean, it's tough game to lose. Tough game to lose. Were there some silver linings in this game? Absolutely. But I think I'm more disappointed in execution. I absolutely hated the 2nd and 9 call. I hated the 3rd and 9 call.
So I said, Rico, I wonder your thought. I thought this was one of, if not maybe Joe Brady's worst outings of the year. I thought it was a rough watch on his end.
It was. He had some bad. Listen, Josh has everything to do. They're together in this. Okay, so Brady may be calling the right, but if Josh is not seeing it, then he's not seeing it. There was a point, I don't know who it was, but he took an awful sack, but James Cook was sitting in the middle of the field, wide open. Josh just has to look there, and it's right there. And there was a point where they panned back at Joe Brady, and I think you hear Joe Brady say, throw it. So whether it was a bit of those two together, let me put it this way. Can I wait for Joe Brady to leave? No, I can't wait. I'm not in on his offense. I think an offensive coordinator with Josh Allen will excel, but he's more in his, this is my system, this is how it's got to be, and I'm not making much adjustments. There weren't many adjustments made. You can see the defensive adjustments that were made. There were huge defensive adjustments made. Offensively, very little adjustments for me. Even Tom Brady was calling it. Tom Brady, quarterback that's played in this league forever, he was like, well, I don't know about that one. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I don't know how you feel. I'm more frustrated with just an overall. I'm more frustrated with everything was frustrating me about this game.
Yeah.
Everything. 17 included. Offensive line was overwhelmed a little bit by the defensive front. I got to give the Eagles defensive front with Jalen Carter was nasty. Josh taking those sacks. Right when he peeled back around, I mean, it is what it is. You're trying to make as much as possible, but you're already on a bum leg.
Yeah,
you're already on a bum leg, and you're turning around and losing another 18 yards, bro. Cut it out, man. So, this team, I got a question for you. Does this team look like a playoff team, or does it look like a Super Bowl contending team to you? What does it look like to you?
Well, Rico, that's where my frustration primarily lies here. Jacksonville's a significantly better football team than Buffalo right now. Houston's a significantly better football team than Buffalo right now. And this is who you're looking at having to play in round 1. I don't think it should be a shock to anybody right now that if you were to watch prediction shows going into the wild card, and if the Bills have to play Houston or Jacksonville, however it lies, and you're seeing people pick the other teams, I mean, I don't know how that could shock you. This team is routinely taking 30 minutes of the football game off. You just mentioned it. The offense, there seems to be no adjustments. The identity of this offense is routine, week in and week out. It's a couple of handoffs, a couple of screens, and pray to God Josh Allen makes a couple of unbelievable plays. I give this Bills defense a lot of credit. In the second half of almost every game, Rico, they've been lights out. They really have the ability to overcome what they've done in the first half. In each and every one of these games, they shut down Philadelphia completely. I almost put zero blame on the Bills defense in totality for this football game. The only touchdown scored by Philly came off of that fumble that you talked about from Josh Allen. It was the only opportunity they really had given themselves to score a touchdown. They started off at the 42-yard line, and they went in and they put it in. But if I'm watching this team, how could you sit and watch that team and feel confident about their ability? Maybe they win a game, right? Maybe they get lucky and they play well in the wild card. I could certainly see that happening. We've seen them pull rabbits out of a hat all year long, Rico. Baltimore, Cincinnati, New England the second time around. They could certainly do that. But if you think that they're going to be able to do that 4 straight games, and this is where I get upset in watching games like this, you can't expect to take 30 minutes of a football game off offensively, even more than that, really. They didn't do anything in the third quarter. You can't expect to have your primary production for all year long. This is the best game they had from their receivers, and all of this results in 12 points. You scored 12 points. Your defense holds an opponent at home to 13 points, and you lose. How can you walk away from a football game like that and say, you know what, this team's got what it takes? I don't know. If you can, God bless you. That's not how I feel after watching that one.
If I'm every coordinator in the NFL and I'm facing the Buffalo Bills, why aren't they all saying, I don't respect anything these guys got going on the wide side of the field.
Right.
Stack the box and take away James Cook. That's my gig. And force Josh to try to trust his receivers. Because when push comes to shove, if I have to make Josh run around like a circus monkey in the backfield and doing all this, if I make him do that for 60 minutes, I've done my job as a coordinator, as a defensive coordinator. My goodness. Like, we've got to figure something out to get the ball to these guys on the outside. Like, it took a crucial bobbled catch by Shavers, and it took a crucial clutch bobbled catch by Brandon Cooks. Other than that, bro, what the heck were we throwing to? Like, goodness, he threw for 260 yards, and 100 yards was Brandon Cooks.
I mean, he tossed it up, and they made a couple of unbelievable catches they haven't made all year long. But are you going to rely on that every game? They had a couple of insane catches. That Cooks catch, Rico, and that Shavers catch, like, those were all-time catches.
Unreal catches. I listen, man. I think this is what it's coming down to me. What it comes down to, because I get frustrated with this team so damn much, because this is a game that we could have easily won this game, right? If that I can't stress it enough. That dumb turnover by Josh Allen changed the game. Did you see what Jalen Hurts did? Jalen Hurts was absolute ass today. He was buns.
Awful.
He was buns. He threw for less than 50% completion. He was averaging 4.1 yards a pop.
Terrible.
This guy was non-existent today. Saquon Barkley, this Bills defense took him out of the game. He ran for less than 70 yards rushing. And you lose? Come on, Josh. Like, you got to help your defense out. Like, how am I saying that? How am I saying that? Usually I'm saying, defense, step your game up. Step your game up, defense. It's because of you we're not doing it.
Well, you know what, though? In addition, though, it wasn't just Josh today. The O-line, not great today. James Cook couldn't get going today. In reality, though, the crazy thing is, once again, you have the most wide open, easiest 2-point conversion of all time, and you put it in the stands. I can't get over it. I can't. How do you not hit that pass?
Right at his feet. And Josh,
Rico, I get like, you throw it, maybe you throw it high or he drops it. How do you throw it 3 feet in front of him? I just don't understand.
It reminds me of the Isaiah McKenzie in the dirt throw against the Miami Dolphins late in the run when we could have won that game, and he threw it right in the dirt. Like, listen, as clutch as Josh Allen is clutch, there's some moments where you're like, bro, you got to have that. Because I'll tell you right now, I'll be straight, and I'm not even trying to be hyperbolic. I'm not trying to be that guy. But Pat Mahomes has not missed that throw. He's nailing that shit. He's nailing it. Like, this is where Josh has got. You got to come in clutch. Are you kidding me? The ball was wet. No, he's being a troll. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy that. I'm not buying that. But I mean, it is. Now, I'll say this. There's one thing that I've had an issue with Josh, in his career, and I was saying this on my Bleacher show just a moment ago. You'll notice Puka Nacua, a lot of yak yards with Puka Nacua, because he's able to run under the football or get onto the football. Josh puts the football on you, and that's it. That's all you're getting. Go back and look at that Brandon Cook. Brandon Cook is wide open. Why is Brandon Cooks having to slow down, turn around, and then catch the football? Josh, lead your boy. Like the moments there were moments where like he had a Khalil Shakir on a streak going across the field wide open. Khalil's got to turn around and catch the football. The little accuracy
it
points.
was in front of the goal line, and they would go on to not score on that.
Buddy, the little things. That's the pass I'm talking about. Like, he's got to be better, man. Lead your guys. And this is something he's been talking about for 4 years. Yeah, I got to be better at leading my guys over and giving. Like, in this Brady offense, if you had a quarterback that was like that, cool. But Josh doesn't throw the ball. Josh puts it on you. As long as he gets the completion to you and you can do the rest, cool. I've always had an issue with Joshua in terms of his accuracy in that regards, right? I don't buy the whole 70%, 68, 69%, 72% because he puts you on you and catches you, you're good to go. Anticipatory throws is not his forte. That's okay. It's not the biggest deal, but it becomes crucial in moments like this at the end of the game when you have a wide open Khalil Shakir and you miss him. Oh my gosh.
What's painful, Reek, is no, I got to run in a little bit, but I want to just a couple more things before I have to head out. But what's painful is, doesn't it feel like a game like today? Doesn't it feel like that's how it's going to end in the postseason?
How do you not see that way? How do you not see that way? A playoff team,
right? That's how. Yes.
A playoff
right?
team,
like that's how I see this game today.
A contending team with all the pressure on you, the limelight. You're at home. You're on the goal line. You just made it. Who cares? Okay, you know what? Your kicker missed the extra point. They don't pay your kicker $330 million. They pay you $330 million to do these things right here. And that's to hit a wide open Khalil Shakir. There's no one to blame. The play call was the right play call. You didn't execute. That's it. We pay you too much money to be missing bullshit like that.
And that doesn't excuse the fact that you should have made the extra point, by the way. It doesn't excuse that. Like, yes, of course you still should have made it, but at the end of the day, you didn't. You have the MVP and you have the wide open opportunity crafted up. You can't go back and then say, well, if we had a kicker. Yeah, but we don't. You have the quarterback. That's the thing that's killing me.
It's disheartening because you wasted such a good defensive performance.
Yeah.
A rare defensive performance by a Bills team that, which Shaq Thompson might have added, has been a difference maker. Yeah. But my goodness, like, you can't waste. They gave you the ball back so often. You scored. How many times do you see a Josh Allen led team 0 points in the first half? Are you kidding me? 0 points for 3 quarters? It's unheard of. That's unheard of. You cannot. You have to make up for what you didn't do for the first 3 quarters. You had your opportunity. All would have been dismissed. All would have been washed under the bridge. Because Josh Allen got us to win. Because all that matters is you got away with a W. Win by 100 or win by 1. As long as you get a W. Bro, losing by 1 like that? Nasty work. That's nasty work. I get frustrated for these losses. These losses frustrate me, right? If it got blown out, cool. And you know what pisses me more off? My heart rate was even keel all game long until the 4th and 9 or the 4th and 9 first down. Then my heart rate goes up. Oh, they're about to do it. They're about to win this game in such a Bills fashion. Nope, let me down. Heart goes up. Now I'm like, and then they take that joy away that could have been. Man, oh man, oh man. Like, I mean, this team, if you look at it, and I'll ask you this: is this a well-constructed team? Is this a healthy team you're looking at? Like, bro, are you loving what you see here? Is the product good for you?
No, this is what really confuses me, because you look at the Eagles and that feels like a well-constructed team, and they're not very good. That's not a good offense. You have the offensive player of the year at running back. And I was talking about this earlier. You have a top tight end. You have a top wide receiver tandem. You have a quarterback that his 2 best games he ever played were both in the Super Bowl. I thought Jalen Hurts today was unwatchably bad. Unwatchably bad. Saquon Barkley didn't do anything. A.J. Brown had a couple of catches early, gone the rest of the game. Devontae Smith, couple of catches, that was it. Outside of the touchdown, which he was wide open on, and I mean, I'm not excusing it, but Dallas Goedert didn't do anything outside of that. Their offense didn't do anything. So this is what really confuses me. you look on paper, construction-wise, and Philadelphia's got an all-star roster compared to what the Bills have on their end of things offensively. And the Bills' offense was better today. It's just they could not score. You know, you talk about whatever. The Bills left a touchdown on the board. They were down at the 2-yard line and they couldn't score. Josh Allen missed the end zone by an inch. They just couldn't score. I mean, there was a point in time where they had 0 points and it felt like they should have been going down to win, and they still had 0. So if you're asking, is it well constructed? Well, here's where it gets tough for me. I think you do have a really great offensive line. James Cook's going to win the rushing title. You have the MVP at quarterback, but you do have, in my opinion, the worst wide receiver room in the NFL. And the defense is just a rotating door because of the injuries. Once again, the defensive line today completely banged up. And you have no reliability on that side of the ball. It's a constant revolving door.
So what do you...
Well constructed.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Honestly, I think that if you were to look at it, like it's fine. It's not what I think we want it to be. And what that is, Rico, is Super Bowl caliber. You don't look at the Bills roster and say that's a Super Bowl roster.
Right.
And that's what it all comes down to.
But I'll tell you this. I bet you didn't look at the 2008 Giants as a Super Bowl roster either. So what is a Super Bowl roster? Sometimes you just got to get hot at the right time.
I did not.
Here's my problem. We're not hot. We're not getting hot at the right time. You took an awful loss to the Eagles, and then you'll and then here's my next question.
And we can't excuse the fact, Rico, they played so bad against Cleveland last week. They were awful against Cleveland.
They weren't great. They weren't great. So what do you do next week? Next week you're going up against a Jets team that is just awful. They're tanking to lose. Josh Allen tweaked his ankle again. So do you play Josh Allen next week? Or do you rest him?
There was a part of me that thought maybe they should have taken him out in this one. Like, that's how bad it looked.
I didn't want any part of that.
He gets that ankle gets stepped on. No, I obviously didn't either. But thinking about what?
Go ahead.
You there?
I'm there. I'm just seeing if you're there. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. No, I was just saying, thinking about the long term, thinking about the playoffs. If he gets stepped on one more time, Rico, they're screwed.
I mean, listen, that's the nature of the business, man. That's the nature of the business. I wanted no parts of him sitting today. I needed him to see it through. You put us in this mess. You're not going to put Mitch Trubisky and then try to clean up your mess. No, you see it through. You put us in this mess, and let's figure your way out. 260 yards, two rushing yards, touchdowns on the ground. I mean, cool. It's great and all. But, dude, I'm trying to figure my life out for next week. Is there any point in him playing? Because right now, as of right now, I don't know if you've done this yet. This is what it looks like for the Bills. Next, if the playoffs were to start today, the Bills will be playing the Jaguars. I don't know how much I love or dislike this matchup. We've played the Jaguars before. Josh Allen on the defensive side of the ball gives Josh Allen fits on this offensive side of the ball. If the Bills lose next week because we sit everybody, we become the 7th seed. We end up playing the Patriots. The only way this happens is if the Broncos win out, which they should, the Patriots will stay at 2. Or they lose to the Dolphins. Who cares? They'll end up staying at 2. And then the Broncos will. So there's a chance that we end up playing the Patriots or the Jaguars.
Yes.
So do you sit your quarterback next week or not? What are your thoughts?
I don't think it matters. I think if you draw either one of those games, it's a tough outing regardless. That's how I see it, Rico. I do think that Allen's leg, though, it does need some healing. He doesn't look like he's moving right now, Rico. Even before this game, early on, there was a moment where he stepped up in the pocket to try and scramble and he got taken down. And it looked like a moment where if he wasn't hindered, he went down the way that he did. Then he got stepped on again. He immediately grabs it. And we got to look at it this way with him. Unlike other quarterbacks in the league right now that are being criticized for, maybe not going in at certain times, Allen will never not go in. He is always going to be in. It's one of the things you got to love about him the most.
Yep.
You would have to literally handcuff that guy to a metal rod attached to the ceiling before he didn't go back in the game, right? You'd have to make the call. And I think that you might have to make the call here because I do think that his leg is certainly something that needs to, or his foot rather, is certainly something that needs to heal up before next week or before the postseason.
I tell you, man, the more I look at the totality of this season, and I'm looking at how Josh has played, then I look at the roster makeup, and then it just keeps pointing me back to the receiver room because Josh can't truly be the Josh he needs to be if he doesn't have a legitimate freaking threat to go downfield or at least be a separator. Josh Palmer has been an absolute disappointment. A disappointment. You're healthy. We brought you in for $11 million and you give us absolutely nothing. Brandon Cooks just got here less than a month ago and he's given us more to this offense than you have. And you've been here much longer. So then it makes me go back to Brandon Beam. Like, bro, this is your product. This is your product. Like, how are you proud of this product? But then I have to go back and say, hold on. A valid point has to be made here. And Rev and I were talking about it this morning or this afternoon. If you look at all the playoff teams that are in the playoffs right now, and I'm looking at them right now, okay? You got the Broncos quarterback with a rookie deal. Patriots, quarterback with a rookie deal. Okay. The Jaguars, obviously, they have a quarterback that they paid big time money to. CJ Stroud, quarterback with a rookie deal. You got three teams in the playoffs right now with a rookie deal. But let me tell you more about why this is important. Because every one of those guys have a defense that rocked. Broncos defense, top. Patriots defense, top. They've built this team to help this guy out the same way they were building to get Josh Allen his victories. Now they had to pay Josh. Now they had to pay all these players. So now this is the product of having to pay people. So we're lucky that we are in a situation that we've 7 straight consecutive playoff appearances, which is great. It's fantastic. But this is the product that's on the field right now. So this is why guys that are paid big time money have to show up in big time moments. And Josh did not show up. He did not show up today in the last moment where we needed him. Disappointment.
No, he did not. I showed up just for a little bit. I got to run out. I got some family in town visiting Zoe, and this is my last time up in Rochester for a while. So I got to go and hang out with the fam a little bit. I got to head back home tomorrow. I wanted to hop on, talk a little bit here, and I'll have more for you tomorrow. Smoke break tomorrow night. I'll collect my thoughts even further, rewatch this back a little bit, and talk a little bit more about it. But this was a gross one, man. This was a gross one. Not feeling great about it. Luckily, Rico, the playoffs were already clinched. I can feel a little bit better about it because of that. But other than that, going to be sleeping a little rougher tonight than I was anticipating. So,
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
By the way, how was Christmas, by the way? The fam enjoyed it? Everything was good?
Christmas was fantastic. The girls loved it. They were spoiled like you wouldn't believe. We went absolutely over budget, and your boy's now broke. So now I gotta get my monies back and get back to work like the common man and do what we need to do.
I'll touch on this real quick before I bounce out. We got Buff JD. But I've been watching football since 1990. You are overreacting as usual on the losses. We are fine. Too emotional. Bills could have won. The operative word there, Buff, is could have won. Now, if you want to say could have in a couple of weeks, that's great. The Bills could have won in the AFC Championship last year. They didn't. The Bills could have won in the 13-second game a couple of years ago. They didn't. We kick and go to OT. Defense played well. Kick and go to OT. You had a wide open 2-point conversion that was completely missed. So I understand what you're saying. They could have won that game. Yeah, they certainly could have won that game. they didn't win that game. And the problem I have is I'm looking at games like this going into the postseason, and this is what I'm worried about, where you just don't play well for half the game and you dig yourself into a hole. And then by the time you find a way to start getting out of that hole, it's just a little too late. And you got to play perfect football at the end. And unfortunately, the Bills couldn't do that. So I wouldn't say this is an overreaction at all. You scored 12 points at home and you'll lose. You allow 13 points and you'll lose. Your defense absolutely dominates, which you're right. The defense played well, but the offense certainly didn't. You got the MVP at quarterback and the rushing title winner at running back, and you score 12 points, and you have 3 scoreless quarters. I mean, that's just not satisfactory. That is not what you can be putting on display 3 days before January and expect to go on a run in the post. I see it. That's where I'll leave it. I'll see you all tomorrow night on the smoke break. Much love, Rico. I'll talk.
All right. That's my guy, Bot. Listen, man. It's not ideal. It's certainly not ideal when we lose these types of matchups, right? Let me just set myself up here. It's not ideal when we lose these type of matchups. I mean, these are the situations where you're sitting here going, okay, all right, everybody calm down, all right, and let's figure things out here. And it was just a little too late before we can find our mojo again. All right, so let's, for those that are saying we are overreacting, I certainly am not over. I'm annoyed. I'm not like pissed off and upset. I'm more annoyed with our play today, and I think I'm more annoyed because our defense played so damn well today, so well, and we give the ball back to this offense that's supposed to be one of the best offenses. We are the number 3 offense in this league. Number 3 offense in this league, and we look like a team that could barely move the football. We weren't executing. And let's keep it a buck. We were going up against a very good defense in the backfield. So going up against Cooper DeJean is not an easy feat. Going up against Quinyon Mitchell is not easy. Zach Bond, not easy. Jalen Carter, they got some ballers on that squad. That's why they won the championship. They're multiple Super Bowl winners. There's a reason for that. But this is where you have to measure yourself up against these type of quality type players. Forget about the team in general. This is where your Gabe Davis, I'll get into that in just a moment. Your Gabe Davises of the world, your Brandon Cooks of the world, your Josh Palmers of the world have to take advantage or find ways to win your one-on-ones. And they didn't do a good enough job of winning their one-on-ones. Hence the reason that your leading receivers were, again, your tight ends. All right? Let me keep going. And when your defense continues to stop the run, it doesn't allow freaking Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown to take over, where A.J. Brown has a history of taking over Bills defenders. We look good today on the defensive side of the ball. It's the offense that couldn't capitalize, and it's been that way in the second half of the season. This defense, although dealing with the most injuries, the most issues, right? Missing the likes of Daquan Jones, missing the likes of Ed Oliver, having an in and out of Christian Benford here and there. Jordan Poyer coming in, and he's been the better safety. But there's been always a revolving door somewhere on this team. There's never been a set front. But as of late, we've started to have a regulatory front that's like, okay, this might be the defense. On the offensive side of the ball, other than the Texans game, bro, this offense has been relatively the same. Same offensive line, same quarterback, same running back that's run for over 1,500 yards, and some might say a better receiving core. Some might say a better receiving core. Some might say, are we really saying that? Could Mac Hollins been a better difference maker on this team for us? Who knows? Who knows? But that unit should not be the issue, and it is. The unit that's got the most issues is the one that's giving us most life, especially in this game. So that's what I'm most disappointed about. Now, do I want to talk about all my disappointments in this game? No. because there were some things that I saw that were great. And I'm going to focus on that. And right now, what I liked to see from this defense was how they had such intentions to stop the run. Saquon Barkley had nowhere to run. Nowhere to run. We had that brother bottled up. He could not get comfortable. Other than that one decent run that he had, which, what was it? He had what? Like a 15-yarder? I could be wrong. 16-yard run? He had a 16-yard run. Other than that, we kept that brother bottled up. 19 carries for 68 yards. Let me tell you why that's more impressive. Because the Philadelphia Eagles are up 13-0 for 3 quarters. At this point, I would run the heck out of that football. They tried. They couldn't. They couldn't run the football because we bottled up Saquon Barkley to 68 yards rushing at less than 4 yards a pop, 3.6 yards a pop. These guys rushed for a total of 82 yards. We allow 5 yards a pop on average, 5.5. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a huge win for this defense, being encouraged by what this defense was able to do today. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown both combined for 7 receptions for less than 100 yards. Less than 100 yards and no touchdowns. Big-time defense coming from the back end. Cole Bishop, Christian Benford. Our guy Trey White with a little bit of mixed in Max Hairston. Cam Lewis helping out tremendously on this defense. This defensive unit had they did a great job today in this game. Led by Matt Milano, has turned it on the last little bit. Cam Lewis coming in and leading being second in tackles on the team with 5 tackles, crucial. Shaq Thompson was a definite difference maker in getting in that run defense. Him alongside Matt Milano. This was huge. This was a great Deion Walker. I cannot stress how great Deion Walker was. Penetrating, how great he was pursuit to the football. You get a receiver or a tight end or a running back to the wide side. This guy's bailing you down. This guy had 3 total tackles himself with 1 tackle for a loss. Greg Rousseau was sensational today, yet again. Defensively, this was a overall great performance by this defense. Wasted by a terrible performance by this offense. Defense was not at all the issue today. They showed up. They came to play. This offense is what just poo-pooed the bed, man. They pissed down the leg. That's exactly what happened. But I want to shine a light on this defense. This defense came through. I want to shine a light on these second half adjustments. If you look at half adjustments, how often did you hear A.J. Brown's name? How often did you hear Devontae Smith's name? Did you even hear Dallas Goedert's name? Saquon Barkley? You didn't hear any. These guys were 3 and out, maybe 4 or 5 plays. They're out and giving the ball back to this defense. Dude, this unit was lights out today. So big shout out to this defense. I couldn't have been happier with that unit. Couldn't have been happier. Now let's talk about something else. Brandon Cooks. I know that most people are saying, man, this experiment with Brandon Cooks is done. And even I was questioning, like, all right, man, like, I know he's better than this. When is his speed and his agility and our ability to use him in this game in this season going to pan out? Because we had the likes of Brandon Cooks in Elijah Moore, but we wanted nothing to do with him. We had Mecole Hardman that gives us speed, but we wanted nothing to do with him. We said, no, he's cooked, he's done. Finally, Brandon Cooks shows that I do have the ability to get downfield, and I can be an asset to Josh Allen. And Josh Allen finding him 4 times off of 6 targets and 100 yards receiving gives me a light at the end of the tunnel to say, wait a minute, we might have something to kind of be happy about. Because if you can get Brandon Cooks as a legitimate threat downfield and you have that on tape for defenses to say, wait, hold on a second, Josh will go deep. Brandon Cooks is the deep threat. This is where guys like Dawson Knox come in, Khalil Shakir come in, and obviously, if he's healthy enough, Kincaid comes in. So Brandon Cooks having those 2 big, long receptions is absolutely encouraging. Absolutely encouraging. And the fact that Josh targeted him 6 times, he was the second most targeted player today behind Khalil Shakir, which is an obvious. And then Dawson Knox had 5. I like to see that. How many different receivers today? 1, 2, 3.
Buffalo Fanatics, what's going on? This is Pierre the Kingpin, and I wanted to talk to you today about Cigars International, which is the ultimate destination for premium homemade cigars. Known as the industry leader, Cigars International offers the largest selection, unbeatable prices, and a customer service experience that's second to none. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned vet, Cigars International makes enjoying cigars easy, approachable, and fun. Cigars International is the go-to retailer for all things cigars, with the biggest selection of premium homemade cigars available anywhere. Cigars International offers unbeatable deals and discounts, making it easy to stock up on your favorite or try something new without breaking the bank. With fast free shipping and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence knowing that Cigars International stands behind every order. They have good relationship with vendors that helps provide great low prices. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned pro, Cigars International makes it easy to find the right cigar with helpful guides, staff reviews, and expert advice. It's not just about cigars. Cigars International also offers a wide range of accessories and more to elevate your smoking experience. Check out the great deals every day at cigarsinternational.com. That's cigars, CIGARS, international.com. Use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply. Again, use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different receivers hit today. Could Josh have been better? Absolutely. He went 23 for 35, 260 yards, 7.5 yards a pop. It wasn't like he was awful. He wasn't awful, but he had some bozo plays. Like that when you have a quarterback rolling out like Josh, throw the ball away. Throw the ball away. Throw it away. Why? You don't always have to live for the next down. You're too old for this. You're going into almost a decade of playing football. You do not get to make those silly, boneheaded mistakes. You don't. You just can't. And Josh will do that once in a while. Like, golly, man, we got to get rid of that. We got to get rid of that because I'm convinced that very turnover lost us that game. As much as you guys want to say, well, hold on, we were 1-2 point conversion away. Bro, this game shouldn't even gone this far. The way this defense was playing, we don't turn that ball over. And the way that we were moving the ball in the first little bit without that turnover, it changed the way the game was supposed to be played. Because now our game plan changed, our plays changed, our intensity changed. Right? We weren't as aggressive. Golly, man, that just annoys me. It annoys me. I'm annoyed. And this is my therapy session to vent it and have dialogue with y'all, man, because that drives me absolutely bonkers. But silver lining, this defense seems like it's ready to go. This defense seems that they've found themselves. And when whoever is calling the plays, it seems as though Sean McDermott allows Babbage to call, and this is just my guess. Don't take this as gospel. Sean McDermott allows Babbage to call plays in the first half, looks at these and assesses on what they're doing in the second half, and if he feels like he needs to take over, I'm in. Because there's such a drastic change of philosophy and intensity. Things just change. So you love to see that. So that's what I'm proud of seeing. I like that glimmer of hope that Brandon Cooks gives us in this offense. Ladies and gentlemen, today the Bills ran for 120 yards rushing. 120 yards rushing. Below our standards because we are the number one rushing offense. Below our standards, but we still were able to establish a run game. We just couldn't put plays together enough to capitalize. We got to the obviously the goal line, and we turned the ball over on downs. We're this shy away. And if I wish I could, if I wasn't going to get copywritten, I would play you the play that's driving me nuts when Josh pump fakes on the goal line, gets both defenders jumping. He had a wide open player right there, waiting for him, sitting right there, but he chose to go for it. And I get it, split second. You don't see everything clearly. It's tough, but man, oh man, it's one of those scenarios where this game it didn't have to turn out the way it did. It did not have to turn out the way it did. That's the best way I can explain myself when explaining this game. Golly, it drives me nuts. This was a game that we should have had, and if the Eagles are walking away with this saying, ooh, we got away with that, would have game. No, that wasn't a good game for y'all either. Offensively, y'all were trash. We silenced you guys offensively. The Bills didn't do what they needed to do. Josh didn't deliver. And I mean everything when I say this. When you're paid $330 million, you have to deliver. You've delivered for us all season long. When we needed you most, you delivered. This should be no different. This is what we ask for of you. Game on the line, 2-point conversion. You have to deliver. You didn't deliver. Fourth quarter, 3 minutes on the clock. You are a series away, a clutch moment and plays away from bringing your team to the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't deliver. I love Josh, but he's got to deliver. You're paid too much money. You're revered. You're loved around the league. You got to deliver. And that was right there for you. It's just what it is. So now what it comes down to is this. What do you do with Josh Allen next week? Forget about, trying to pick your own destiny. That's out the window now. You could have picked your own destiny by playing at home, by winning out, and giving yourself an opportunity to at least try to fight for the AFC East. All you have to do is win this game, win the next, and let the chips fall where they fall. But you did your job by winning out. Not only that, you beat the Patriots to allow yourself to be in the position to win out. Let's just say Quinn Ewers and the Miami Dolphins go out and upset the Patriots next week. Not even upset, because the Patriots have everything in they're still going for the number one seed. Let's just say that happens. You didn't take care of your own business. You didn't take care of your own business. And here you are. Disappointment. Absolute disappointment. And I'm sure Josh is kicking himself in the pants right now, knowing that he let his team down. He let your team down. And that's what it comes down to. And now all we're going to hear is a whole bunch of Josh ain't it. Josh, is that so hopefully with all this chatter going on social media, hopefully it burns something in Josh and this offense to prove everybody wrong and surprise and shock the world and say, you hold on, wait till we get to the playoffs and I'm going to show you who I am. But as of right now, looking at what we see offensively and what we've seen the last 2 games, bruh is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So obviously, those turnovers hurt. You got to punch that in, and he's gonna lament over that. It's gonna be a tough one, but you learn from it. You absolutely learn from it. And had he just squared his feet, all he had to do was square your feet, brother. You're there. You're absolutely there. But we weren't there. We weren't there on that one. So that's how it falls. Now, how did we get to this place? How did this all transpire? And I gotta lament this a lot more on this defense. This defense, in this terrible, shitty weather, held the Philadelphia Eagles to 11 first downs. 11 first downs. 6 passing first downs. 4 rushing first downs. And one of them was a gimme off of a first down off of penalties. The Bills defense held the Philadelphia Eagles to 3-13. I'm not a mathematician. That tells me that's less than 20% conversion rate. Maybe less than 20%. They were awful on third downs. Folks, we kept these guys to 190 yards of total offense. This is why I'm annoyed. This is why I'm irritated. We're a much better offense than the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is what we turn out. They had 3.5 yards a play. We had 4.5 yards a play. Total yards of offense, 330. 330 yards of offense. We lose the game 13-12. 2 for 3, red zone. We had 4 penalties. We cut down our penalties. 4 penalties for 40 yards. You know what stood out? That freaking turnover. And it was one that could have been easily avoided. Easily avoided. That turnover. Josh has turned the ball over far too many times this year for my liking. I think he's at 12 turnovers compared to last year. I mean, I say far too many. Even 12, or I think that's what he's at, 12 or 13. Even that's modest. That's actually pretty decent. But it's crucial. I think it's because of the magnitude of these turnovers. It's how awful they look. This is horseshit. We can't allow that. We can't allow that. But here we are. We led the way with 35 minutes of time of possession. We led the way with 2 of 3 red zone as opposed to their 1 of 2. We had 120 yards of rushing. We had 260 yards of passing. I mean, golly, man. We went 6 for 15 on third downs. And we still lost this game. We still lost this game. So at the end of the day, folks, you go into this playoffs, you're going to be playing some tough teams. Some tough teams. By the way, number 3 in NFL sacks and number 3 in NFL with sacks, and number 1 is the Raiders. Let that sink in. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you have it. Let that sink in for a bit. So, are the Bills still a good team? Absolutely. Can the Bills still win in the playoffs? Absolutely. Can the Bills contend for a Super Bowl? Yes. Because any team can be beat. Any team can be beat. And if the defense plays the way they played today, I'll bet on Josh to step his game up when it needs to be done. Defense just needs to play the way they played. If the defense continues to play the way they play, I'll take that. I will take that every day of the week. The Eagles were, I was going to say, listen, Linda. Listen, Laura, the Eagles were absolutely beatable. Absolutely beatable. And that's a multiple Super Bowl winning team with that roster. Come on now. So, what happens next week? Y'all let me know. What happened next week? What happens next week? Do you sit Josh Allen and say, listen up, big fella. Get right. Make sure your ankle's correct. And we'll go from there. Now, he finished the game, which tells me maybe it's not as bad as we think it is. Or they let Josh play the first series or two just to kind of give him that continued streak of playing, and he played all season long and go from there. But for the most part, we got to start deciding on who sits and what takes place. Because next week, somebody said he came out in a boot. Oh, without a boot. Next week, it really doesn't matter who we play, to be quite frank. Because if you're looking at the playoff scenarios that take place, let me just kind of take a look here. I might even be nice enough to share my screen with y'all. Okay. Let's take a look here real quick. If we're going to look at what this is going to look like for us, the playoff picture. Okay. Obviously, we see it right here. You guys can see that okay? Let me see if I can open my screen up a little bit for y'all. There we go. That should work out, huh? Yeah, y'all see that? I'm being nice to you guys so you guys can see it. So, obviously, Broncos remain number one, and they've got a 50% chance of winning. I mean, it's between these two boys. If the Broncos lose next week and the Patriots win, they get the number one, which would absolutely burn me in my soul. That the Patriots, their first year they come back, they not only do they get the first seed, they clinch the division. Ugh, that'll burn me in my soul. Let's keep rolling. Let's just say the Broncos remain the same. The Patriots stay at 2. Or the Broncos win, Patriots lose, Jaguars win. Maybe the Jaguars go to 2, Patriots fall to 3. Either way, we're either playing the Patriots or the Jaguars unless something absolutely shakes up and the Texans skyrocket to number 2 spot. We are in no position to choose who we play because we didn't take care of our own business. So the reason I bring this up is, what do you do with Josh and the rest of this offense? Do you sit them? James Cook, have a seat. But James Cook is in the middle of trying to win a rushing record. Excuse me, a rushing title. There's incentive for James Cook. So maybe they do play. Maybe they're playing for seeding. Maybe they want the 6th seed, so the 6th seed forces them to go to the Jaguars. Maybe they don't want to play the Patriots. Or maybe they're fighting, or they lose purposely to go to the 7th seed so they can play the Patriots. I don't know if this becomes strategic or not. Maybe this does become strategic. At this point, at the end of the day, the Bills are on the road. We're not great on the road. The one thing that I know that we're going to avoid is playing the Chargers because that's a West Coast team. There's no West Coast. I mean, and we might, hopefully we can avoid the Broncos. Try to stay in the East. If we can try to stay in the East, we're okay. And try to avoid going to the Texans as well. Because I know that on the road, time shift and differences messes everybody up, especially going to West Coast. It's tough. Shoot, somebody said throw us in a dome. My man Cody Benz. Listen, dome or not, we're a team that can play in all weather. You want to give us, you want to go bring us to the West Coast and Bronco land? Not like we've never done it before. We'll go there, we'll handle business. Right? We played at Foxborough before, we won. Not an issue for us. You want to give us to some warm weather? I think the Bills would gladly take the warm weather. You let me know. We ain't going to the Chargers, that's for sure. So listen, man. We got the Bills have opportunities to get healthy. If it's my call, I play Josh for a series or two, maybe for a quarter. Josh Allen specifically for a quarter, less than that. Maybe a series or two. Sit down, have a seat. You already got your 40 touchdowns. So we don't have to worry about, did he get his 40 touchdowns or not? You're there. You got your 40 touchdowns. You're the only quarterback that's done that in a long time. Let me make sure that I'm accurate on that. Let me make sure I'm accurate on that. Did Josh Allen get his 40 total touchdowns? Josh Allen, 25 passing touchdowns, and what am I looking at here? I just got to make sure that my man did get all touchdowns. Yeah, so listen, we're good. He did everything he needed to do. By the way, 10 turnovers for Josh, 10 interceptions, and he had that fumble today, which he knows he got to be better than that. You got to be better than that. Josh Allen, 40. Why am I acting like I'm on the slow side? Your boy acting like he's slow today. Here we are. So Josh Allen today, he's got 25 touchdowns. He's got 12. There you go. He's a little short. So they're going to want to get him his 40. Is my math off? Is my math off? 25 and 12? 25, 35, 37. He's 3 touchdowns short. He's trying to go for his 40. So they might keep him in, depending. If it's up to me, 1 quarter. Less than a quarter, Josh Allen, 40 touchdowns, 11 turnovers. Does he have his 40? Am I wrong? Is my math wrong? Yeah, he's at 39. Okay, he's shy of it. So they might leave him for the first half just to get that. I've seen this league do stuff like this. Josh Allen shy from getting extending his 40 touchdown performance to this, that, and the third. It is what it is. All right, so here's my thing. First quarter, play him in the first quarter. Let him do what he's got to do. Sit him. Bring everybody up from practice squad that you got and get them in. And let the backups do what they need to do. Rest some guys. And then hopefully we see Matthew Judon next week. We signed the brother. He's on the practice squad. You think at one point we're going to try to get him on the field? Today would have been great. Nope. We good. So Matthew Judon is on the practice squad. We're waiting for this brother to see what takes place. We'll see. It's a tough one. My man Artemio says, final analysis. He goes, Rico, let Mitch QB versus the Jets and let Josh rest his whole body. Come week 18, happy W's for the Bills. SB60, cheers. I hear that. But there's incentives here, folks. Don't forget. There's incentives for James Cook. There's incentives for Josh Allen if he hits certain benchmarks. Like today, Stephon Diggs scoring a receiving touchdown got him an extra $500,000. So players are pissed. Why do you think Max Crosby is hella pissed? They shut that brother down 2 weeks before the season's over to show that he's pissed off. He was playing hoops on his home court with his kids. You see what's saying. All right, let me get to the super chats before we get out of here, and we'll get it cracking. Shout out to my guy Real Dan Echo. What up, Dan? Dan comes in and says defense held champs to 13 points, 17 yards in the second half. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about. They held these boys down. The defense showed up. I'm proud of this defense, man. You ain't gonna tell me nothing else. This defense came through. It's the offense that poo-pooed the bed. Anyway, 17 yards in the second half. Lost in the trenches. The offense lost in the trenches. Allen, bad sack, missed final play, cost us. Bad calls by Brady, yep. And he ran Bott's favorite pass to Shakir, 3rd and 1, opening third quarter. At least Cooks was nice deep threat. That was one of the nicer things today, was seeing Cooks do what he needs to do. But for the most part, there were some nice things we saw offensively. Definitely. Shout out to my guy, Bart Tech. What's going on, Bart? He goes, yo, it's 2 a.m. in Poland. Oh, my man's in Poland? Okay. It's 2 a.m. in Poland. My uncle, who never watched a football game in his life, when he saw Brady, said, who's the young guy? He needs to go. Well, there it is. I think as much as you want to say Brady and Josh, they're cool with each other, I think Josh, would prefer a more traditional drop back and let my, like, you got a cannon for an arm and you're relegated to the intermediate passes. Let that brother throw that ball deep, man. And I think that we need an offensive coordinator that will allow Josh to do what he does. Josh is cognizant of what to take if he doesn't have what he's got deep. But they've programmed his brother to take the intermediate. Bro, just let him do what he does. And find someone that has the happy median. We'll soon find out next year. Because if they bring back Joe Brady. Buddy, that's all I'm going to say. Buddy's all I'm going to say. My man Richie Fresh says, I'm scared it's becoming a trend with Josh Allen. Missed receiver in KC, game a couple years back, now this. What's next? Snafu? Well, let me tell you this. What comes to play with Josh in clutch moments is that play where he had, yet again, Khalil Shakir in the back of the end zone, and Chris Jones pushes Deion Dawkins right into Josh. Josh doesn't kind of step inside a little bit. He stays put. And as he's throwing, he gets thrown off kilter and the ball is off. And if it's not, and Josh kind of makes things happen, maybe we're singing a different tune. But those are the plays I remember. As much as Josh has bailed us out and has made countless plays, you tend to forget the ones that matter the most. And that does matter. Because this was a win. This puts a win for your squad. Here we are. And I think it hurts because of the loss. My man Jacob, what up, Jake? He goes, Josh needs to learn to relax in clutch moments or under high stress. This is a quality you can improve with consistent practice and training. Well, I'll tell you this much. If they had a heart monitor on Josh's heart in the last bit of this game to see how high, and I think the NFL should do that. I don't know if it's not allowed, but I think they should have the heart monitor on these players for next gen stats and see, is Josh's heart pounding like crazy, or is he cool as a cucumber? Is he calm? Because I'd love to know that. That would be super dope if the NFL would adopt that, or maybe they're not allowed to reveal such personal things. I have no idea, but that would be dope. You track how fast these players go. You track everything else. Track the heart rate. I'd love to know what the heart rate is. That'd be dope. So does he need to relax? It's like, ever get in an argument with your girl and tell your girl, yo, relax. Let me know how that's going to go for you. So telling a quarterback, an NFL quarterback that's got 11 guys trying to defend him, and a 12th calling plays to get him off his mode, and he's trying to stay as calm as possible when it's barely down on him. You try to relax in that situation. But that is why they pay him a lot of money. Simple as that. Signified knows. I hope ICE deports Joe Brady to El Salvador. I'm so damn sick of him and his BS offense. RB screen on 3rd and 9. Are effing kidding me? Terrorism, fire him. Listen, even Tom Brady, as much as these color commentators are not allowed to really like express themselves too much, they got to stay as neutral as possible and not call out either coordinator. Even he was like, "Oh, I wouldn't have ran the ball there. That's it." If you got 7 or 8 yards, he kind of caught himself by saying, "If you ran for 7 or 8 yards, okay, fine, but I wouldn't have called that there." So that tells me if Tom Brady were, and a coordinator that knows Tom Brady would never call that nonsense for Tom, right? But this guy runs a 2 and 9. On 2nd and 9, he predictably runs James Cook. Then runs a predictable receiver screen on 3rd and 9. And now you've got yourself in a 4th and 9 predicament. Having to peel out a hook and ladder. Gross. Just gross. Just absolute gross, Joe Brady. Oh, I can't wait till that brother goes, man. I am absolutely done. I've been done. You guys have heard me on record. I've been done with this guy for months now. I've been done with it for months. All right. Sandy Larson. What's up, Sandy? Sandy comes in and says, this team was never a Super Bowl caliber team. One-dimensional offense and good, but not great defense. This team cannot win 4 road games in the Super Bowl. That's what it's going to have to take. That's exactly what it's going to have to take. And if these boys can make it happen, we'll be celebrating at the parade in Buffalo together. You and I both will be together. Rico's like the Bills offense showing up late. Listen, first of all, Bot came on there out of nowhere. I didn't expect him to be on. First of all, because he was like, hey, man, I don't think I'm going to be on. I'm hanging out with the family. So, rah, do what I do. All of a sudden, he's on for like 20 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, I guess you're on. So anyway, it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. That's my guy still. My man, Money Mitch, Led Robster. I don't even know what to say or how to feel. BF is the best channel on YouTube. Listen, man, I think we're all at a loss. So is Josh. So is everybody. I'm gonna probably try to grab some clips online to kind of signify how this team is feeling, because this was a bad loss, man. It was not. Look at it how you want to look at it. This is a bad loss because offensively, we did all the things that we needed to do to move the ball up and down the field. We didn't capitalize. And capitalizing is what we're supposed to do. 2 of 3 in the red zone is cool. We got to capitalize. But I'll tell you this, man. Life was made a lot harder when your kicker misses your extra point kick. Is it on the kicker? No. But your kicker's got to do his job. He's got one job. Kick the damn ball through the uprights. That ball was entirely too low. Pop that thing up. Man. But you know what? If you go back at it, Jalen Carter absolutely bull rushes over the 2 linemen and puts his hand up. Well, what did you want to do? That's a great individual play by a great player. We just didn't do our part. We did not do our part. Shafto, damn, the one quarterback Allen hasn't beaten on 4th and goal with a chance to win on a walk-off conversion and whiffs to throw the game on Hurts. Damn, we haven't beaten the Eagles for real with Jalen Hurts. If the league is good enough, they saw what kind of game this was. Rematch next year. Put that on the schedule for us. All right, Fluffy Panda, what up, Fluff? I get the reluctance blaming 17. Don't worry, ESPN, Fox Sports will be all over that fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. 99%, 99 out of 100, Josh Allen 17 makes that. Him playing hurt us. No, I'm not gonna give you that one. Him playing hurt did not hurt us. Him making bozo mistakes hurt us. He fumbled that football being a bozo, trying to do too much when not much was needed. It was 2nd and 1, I think, at the time. Take the sack. Throw the ball away. Throw at the receiver's feet. Do something. You waited too long. You have to forget you're playing the Philadelphia Eagles with a bunch of athletes on this team. Quit bullshitting around. Get rid of the football. No, I'm not giving that. Him playing hurt us. No, he played the whole damn game, and he played just fine. He didn't execute. That's on him. That's on him. Josh isn't seeing those receivers because his ability to react under pressure is declining in real time. Game by game, we all see it. Whether you want to call it that, it's tricky. Listen, man, I'm convinced that his eyes are just all over the place too quickly. And I don't think it's because he's feeling the pressure. He knows how to maneuver in the pocket. So, and then the sacks that he took today were him kind of waiting a little too long before somebody gets open. Now, blame it on the receivers not getting open, or maybe he's not trying to do too much because he turned the ball over earlier. There's a lot that comes into play. But is he seeing his receivers? Yes, his receivers just not doing the job very well. Let me tell you this. What's the purpose of having Gabe Davis on the field? If I'm going to take a receiver between Gabe Davis and Keon Coleman, give me Keon Coleman over Gabe Davis all day. I didn't want Gabe Davis on this team to begin with. When he left, I was like, okay, this makes sense. When they made him return to the team, I was like, why? Why? What has he done on the field at any point that has you saying, I can't believe they benched him last week. This is why. Because he brings nothing to the offense. I'd rather go, at least you have a 6'4" receiver that's young, fresh legs, and that if you give him an opportunity and actually throw him the football and make him a focal point of this offense, you can see some good things, i.e. week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, what's happened since? Him being in the doghouse, him not taking some things seriously, and him dogging it, I don't like that. But I'll take him, the athlete, over Gabe Davis 10 days out of 10 days, 365 out of 365. I want nothing to do with Gabe Davis on this field. 2020 was a long time ago. Okay? 2020 was a long time ago. Cut it out. Let me move on to the next. Hold on. I got my man Fluffy Panda. Facts. Joe Brady plus Josh Allen, bad mix. I don't like that mix whatsoever. Look what Ben has done for Caleb. Dude on the Jags, which is Cohen. Cohen has done really good for the Jags. We need a better offensive coordinator for Josh Allen. The craziness continues this year. It's the facts. This mix is not working out. Josh Allen is a supreme elite athlete. He's an intelligent quarterback. He's going to try to do everything he can to make it work. But your offensive coordinator should make it easier for your quarterback. It doesn't feel this way. It does not feel this way. So that's how I see it. So yeah, this Joe Brady, Josh Allen, it's for the birds. I ain't seeing it. Jesse, what up, Jesse? Do you see any value in playing starters next week? Who is our likely matchup on the wild card weekend? Sadly, I'm going to believe we will win until we don't. So am I. We're going to win until we don't. I'm with you. We got no choice. We got no choice. By the way, pardon my voice. If you guys could hear me all week, you couldn't even hear me. I was talking like this the whole week. I'm surprised that I'm actually able to even get my voice out. Anyway, do I see any value in the starters playing next week? Yes. Selfishly, because I want to see Josh get his numbers. Selfishly, I want to see James Cook get his numbers. Selfishly, and as for anybody else on defense, get the bench in, get Max Harrison in. You know what I'm saying? Get Savage in, get those guys in just to kind of play the rest of the season, or at least the second half, or they play the first quarter and then call it a day. I'm not trying to see anything else, especially because we know where we're going to be. Whether we play Jacksonville, whether we play the Broncos, whether we play the Patriots, doesn't matter. They're all teams that had a better record than us, and they are who they are. But I'll tell you this much. I bet you they're not wanting to play the Bills because the Bills are such a streaky and dangerous team. So we're just as dangerous as they are. At the end of the day, the job is to make the dance. What you do in the playoffs is what matters at the end of the day. That's it. What you do in the playoffs matters. Josh shows up in the playoffs. So rest his ass. Rest him. Week 18. See you in the playoffs. And then we'll go from there. As long as him and Brandon Cooks have something, we might have something here. Richard Fresh, my guy. I prefer Jags for weather purposes versus Pats. We're going to find out. Next week is going to play a lot into what takes place. By the way, my guy Buff JD was going out my guy Z-Bot, saying, I've been watching football since the 90s, and I know he read that already. And he was saying that Z-Bot overreacts, or we as content creators overreact. The one thing I will say about this statement that I totally disagree with is we are fine. That part right there, I disagree. We aren't just fine. Okay? We aren't just fine. Because if we were fine, this game would have been over with. We would have won this game with ease, 2-point conversion, walk down. I mean, we should have won this game with a 1-point conversion. No, but we're not fine. Because if we were fine, we wouldn't be playing Russian roulette with our receiver room. We're not knowing what the left is doing with the right. We had Mecole Hardman on the active roster. Then he hurts his calf. Then we bring him back just to cut him. Make that make sense for me. So, no, we are not fine. So I disagree when folks say, hey, relax, we're fine. We're just going to do this and we're going to do that. Listen, if what the team has looked like these past few weeks should have anybody concerned. So, no, we're not fine, DJ Buff. But I appreciate that super chat. Flop Panda says, yo, I got it. Play Mitch first half. Play Josh Allen third and on. I guess we could do something like that. Get right. Try to be positive and say tough loss we needed before the playoff run. But listening to you and Bot brings you back to realization. We're cooked. Whoa. Easy now. I'm not saying we're cooked. What I'm saying is we can't sit here and act like today's performance was a team that you could see winning the Super Bowl. Could you see this team winning the Super Bowl? Could you see the Eagles team winning the Super Bowl? Those are two teams that were fighting today that you would think those are not Super Bowl winning teams. Those are not Super Bowl contending teams. The performance didn't give you that. Now, if it was a clear and sunny day, do things change? Who knows? Who knows? This game, in my opinion, played in our favor. It played in our favor. Josh is accustomed to playing in this crappy weather. Windy record. We are at home. This was in Josh and the Bills' favor. The schedule was made this way. Super Bowl defending champs coming to the Buffalo Bills at home late week 17. So here we are. So there's still reason to be positive, though. This defense has looked great. This defense has looked good. You saw what they did the last few weeks, man. They step up when they need to step up and give the ball back to Josh. They've done that consistently. Is the offense has kind of been a little wonky as of late. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. Last super chat coming in from Kelsey. I see you, Kelsey. Give me a moment here. At what point as fans do we just stop expecting the Bills to have a full 60 minutes of good football? Bad game in general, but it's the playoffs time. Be good, do good. God bless. Go Bills. Thanks, Rico. Thank you, Kelsey. Let me jump on that real quick. At what point, as fans, do we stop expecting the Bills to have a full 60 minutes of football? Here's the thing. The Bills were on their way to having a good first half start. They were moving the football. You saw what they were able to do with Cook. And then what does Josh do? Give the football away. I'm convinced that ball does not get turned over. We march into their territory. We score a minimum 3 points. Now, the way the Bills were playing, we put the ball and the onus back on the Eagles. The Eagles did not play well. Jalen Hurts, I think, is a good quarterback, decent quarterback, but I don't think he's anywhere near on the level of Josh Allen. And you saw it today. So we would have been doing that all day to them, forcing them to throw, forcing them to put them in bad positions, and I think we would have been great. So we would have had a good full 60 minutes. But Josh decided to turn the damn football around. And that's what you get. That's what you get. But I appreciate you very much, Kelsey. So the fact that we play the Jets next week, Josh is sitting at 39. Was he 39 touchdowns? That can't be. Did we confirm that 39 touchdowns is what he's sitting at? I gotta look it up. I gotta make sure that I got this right. He's got what, 20? Let me make sure that I saw that correctly. Josh has got 25 passing touchdowns. Is that right? Did I say that right? So 25 passing touchdowns. And then he's got what, 12 rushing touchdowns? I wonder if that's even updated. That can't be. You know what? He scored 2 rushing touchdowns today. So it's not updated. So he's got 39 touchdowns. It wasn't updated. He's got 39 touchdowns. The Bills will not bench Josh Allen. They will play him at least the first half. Get him in they're going to get him in run the football, dump the football off, get him in space, get him in a tush-push scenario, and get him his 40 touchdowns. And then they'll get him on the field and call it a day. And that's 6 seasons of 40-plus touchdowns every year. Unbelievable. I think that's what I see. I think that's what I see going forward. So let's here. By the way, here's I'm going to play a little something for you guys. Here's Josh Allen explaining the 2-point conversion, and I know he He's sitting him. Right now, he's in a position where he's like, I messed up. And I had it. It was right there for me. And I let my team down. And he knows that. We all know that. It's just what it is. And here's Josh explaining that very scenario.
Yeah, I just missed. Rolling left. Got to give him a better ball.
You guys had a little extra time to decide to go for two. Just what were those conversations like when you were getting ready for that play?
Just getting to a play that we like. Again, it was there, and I got to make it.
How much did your foot impact you?
0.
You guys offensively, good defense. What took you guys a while to start putting together drives that get you a chance to score points?
Better. Got to be better at the details. Couldn't tell you exactly. Got to go in and watch this and learn from it.
Well, there you have it. I mean, listen, when you lose, you're not gonna be as candid. You're not gonna have a whole lot to share and say, oh, this is what I did, and like you're so disappointed in yourself. You just want to get out of here. You just want to get out of Dodge, move on, and call it a day. So that's what it comes down to. And I'll say this. I've said this once, and I'll say it again. If that is Pat Mahomes, he is coming through with that. If that's Tom Brady, he is nailing that. Josh Allen is in that company. You've got to get that job done. You got no choice. You have to get it done. And at the end of the day, that's where we stand. That's where we stand. I mean, I don't have to tell you guys.
Eagles gonna hold on.
Just take a look. Let me just mute this real quick. It's right there, Josh. It's right there. It's right there for you to take it. It's right there. It's right there. Set your feet. The pressure's not. Step up. Step up. Right here. Step up. You got time. He's right there. You feel me? Like, I mean, it's easier said than done. But when I'm watching this, folks, in slow-mo, Josh has done this before. That's why I can say step up. Boom. You're facing it. There's the pocket right there. Scoot on over. Scoot on over, brother. Right here. The pocket's right there. Step up. That's a walk in the park, buddy. That's a walk in the park. And we didn't capitalize. And that's why Josh is pissed, because he knows better. That's why he's pissed. And I don't blame him. He knows better. It's tough, man. It really is tough. Those are the ones that you want to have. And we didn't take full advantage of it. That one that he was rolling on that 4th and 2, I really do believe he did have, I think it was James Cook or Ty Johnson in the middle of that field. And it was a tough one. And by the way, if you guys are wondering where Josh hurt his ankle, let me just show you right here. Let me show you. Josh, pay attention to that right ankle. He tweaks it before he goes down. It's the same ankle that he hurt the last time. He tweaks it before he goes down. Pay attention. And right there. Did you see it? Did you guys see that? It's subtle. It's quick. You just got to see it real quick. And right there. And once he went down, it was it. And if you guys have ever sustained a high ankle sprain, they're not fun. They're a bummer to deal with. You got to rehab that sucker. And that's why next week, if he plays the first half to kind of get some juice to it, maybe it plays out well, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Tough loss for the Bills. Now they got to go and regroup and go from there. I'm curious to see if how we end these streams. What did Sean McDermott have to say after the game? I'm curious to see if they did a presser, not even a presser, but if coach talked after the game. And ladies and gentlemen, nothing. So It's a tough game. I mean, what's Sean McDermott going to say? What's he going to put on film? What's he going to put on film? It's a loss, so I can't see them doing that. But that 13-12 loss is a tough one. It's a tough one. That's just the nature of the biz, folks. Nature of the biz. I got another super chat coming in. It's just another game, bro. Bills winning it all on the road after moving out of Highmark against the Jets. Listen, man, if the Bills win on the road all the way through, count me in as a fan of that. There is a video? Did you say there is a video? There is a video? All right, let me go take a look. Because I was looking at the Buffalo Bills website, and they got nothing. They got nothing from my boy. So unless nothing's there, no, I don't see anything, brother. No, nothing there. But ladies and gentlemen, before I get out of here, this was a game you can learn from. The Bills should learn from this. What they should learn, that the defense is very capable if they put their minds to it and they put their game plan to stop the run, they absolutely can. Which makes, if you can stop the run, this makes this defense a dangerous defense. Makes it a very dangerous defense. It's just a matter of the Bills doing what they need to do offensively. And if we can do what we need to do on the offensive side of the ball, this is a dangerous team going into the playoffs. And the fact that we'll be the 6th seed or the 7th seed, let's make history. Let's just be another team with a 7th seed or 6th seed that comes in, clears house, and wins the Super Bowl. Just be one of few teams that do that. Let's do that. We're very capable of it. So why not? Why not? So this is one of the things that I was talking about, by the way, before I let you guys go. When I talk, and I hope you guys don't think Rico's just being a hater on Josh. This has been one of my big beefs with Josh Allen. You have a cannon for an arm. You have a guy that's known for his speed. Yet we're underthrowing. There is no business where we should be underthrowing anybody. Why does he have to slow down? Why is he slowing down? He should be catching that in stride. Brandon Cooks should be catching that in stride and walking into the end zone. But underthrown. Josh hasn't. He has the biggest arm in the game. So why is he underthrown? Explain to me why he's underthrown. He did the same thing with Diggs. When Diggs would have to turn around often and get the ball. Yes, it was like a 50-yard bomb. Let that brother catch it in stride. That's just my personal beef with Josh when it comes to Josh. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that and go from there. So that being said, do we love this team? Of course we love this team. Of course we do. But at the end of the day, if this team is supposed to win the Super Bowl and we have the easiest path to the Super Bowl, we got to start handling our business. We got to start handling our business. And if we don't handle our business, the Texans will. If we don't handle our business, the Broncos will. And my man Tori doesn't like what I'm saying. Stop, Rico. His foot is not right. You sound goofy. And if Tori was listening to what I said, it's not just this one. He's been doing it for years. Tori's hard of hearing because he wants to glaze Josh, and Josh can do no wrong. He's throwing off a limp foot, Rico. He's throwing off a limp foot. First of all, the pass that he threw was before the ankle. So cut it out with that nonsense. Cut it out. Knock it off. Like, stop with excuses. I get tired of y'all just making excuses. Bro, it's okay. He didn't execute. Josh does great things. This time he didn't. What are we trying to make excuses for? Oh, stop it. You sound goofy. You're making excuses. Boy, shut your ass up, man. Be quiet. He's throwing off a gimp leg. That was in the first half. Stop. Stop that nonsense. Like, cut it out, man. Sometimes it's okay. It's okay to say, yo, man, my quarterback didn't do his best. My quarterback didn't execute. My team lost. You don't got to make excuse for everything, bro. You ain't got to. You're probably the same person that's saying, the kicker lost us the game. It's some weirdo stuff, bro. You got some weirdo stuff. I've been trying to tell you, he's not an anticipatory thrower. He's just a put it on you. As long as you're open, just catch it where I throw it to you. Catch it where I throw it to you. If you've been covering the team like I have, he's been saying that he needs to get better at kind of letting the guys get under it and do what they need to do. Listen, Torrey doesn't want to call it that. Torrey wants to say he's hurt. His ankle's bummed. He has a bobo on his ankle. He doesn't want to call that it was a choke job. He choked. It's what it is. It's what it is. Torrey, he choked. Get over it. Get over it, big guy. Come on, Torrey. Be better than that, bro. Anyway, before I get out of here, I got obligations, obviously, that I got to handle. So let me do my thing. If you guys did your sleeper picks, and I hope today was championship week. I hope you guys did some great things in your fantasy. If you had King Henry in your fantasy game, boy, did he win you your game. Him alone won you your game. If that's the case, kudos to you. If pardon me, man, this cold has been whooping my tail all week. If you guys have not gone ahead and used your sleeper code from BF25, go ahead and use that. Get a 100% match up to $100 by using our code. And listen, we're giving you a free $20 entry so you can make your picks and do all that good stuff. Guess what? I did. Let's see how it all panned out. I want to share it with you guys. Give me a moment. I want to see how I did because I've been god awful all week, all year. So we're going to find out how your boy did. So without further ado, here are my picks for what took place with our guys with the Eagles game. So if you guys can see my screen, I had Saquon Barkley with an anytime touchdown. Well, we already know that didn't happen. So there goes that. We had Jalen Hurts passing for less than 189 yards. That was a absolute win for me. And then a James Cook anytime touchdown. We didn't get that. So listen, these games sometimes can be very unpredictable. And this was no different. This was an unpredictable game. So Saquon Barkley did not hit. James Cook did not hit. But I did hit on Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts, as much as he's a good quarterback and he's showed up in big time moments for this team, buddy, if I'm an Eagles fan, I'd be pissed with his performance. Like, if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm not sitting here happy with my performance. If they are happy with that performance, boy, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them because that wasn't a good one. That was not a good one. So that being said, folks, that's my time. I appreciate you guys. You guys have been fantastic all year round. We got one more game next week against the lowly Jets that all they had to do was give a fighting chance to their team to put some pressure on the Patriots, and they got blown out. They let Drake May throw for 5 touchdown passes against that secondary, and that was without Mac Hollins. So, folks, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. The Bills lose this game, 13-12, tough matchup. There were some good things in this game, but there were definitely some things that we could have done much better. We could have done much better. So, that being said, let's reconvene next week. Let's reconvene next week. We're gonna do this again with the Jets, but we'll be back at it this week. My man Z-Bot will be coming back up tomorrow. He's with family right now. He's finishing off the tour, the baby tour, and then you got myself coming back on Tuesday. I'll be on with my guy. If I'll be solo, if not, I'll be with my guy, Mr. Carl Jones. I'm sure he's got some things to share, and then we're back at the injury report. We'll see how Josh and the rest of the offense is doing on Wednesday. Something tells me that we're going to have a lot of people on that injury report going into next week. I can promise you that. That thing's going to be a laundry list of people that might not even play next week, depending on what they want to do. And then we're back at it again potentially on Friday. And then the final game happens Sunday against the Jets. And this will be a 1 o'clock game. So that being said, folks, you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon and rest of your evening, shall I say, because it's about 11 o'clock at night for me. And we'll go from there. Big shout out to every one of you guys tuned in. Smash that like before you guys get out of here. If you guys have not shared the stream, go ahead and share the stream, and we will go from there. My man P. Mathis goes, Rico, we appreciate you. Let's go Bills. And 2026 is going to be our year, man. Listen, before we go to 2026, let's try to make 2025 our year. And then we can go into 2026 with a banner. And then that's just even better. Even better. My man 99, triple nines. He goes, Rico, the best on YouTube. I come here all the time, and I'm a Pats fan. Yo, I thought you were just a generic fan, brother. I appreciate you, man. Rico welcomes all. Bills Mafia are admittedly the best fan base. Peace. Appreciate you. Patriots deservedly won their division. They took care of their division. They took care of their schedule. They did what they needed to do, and they won. Simple as that. They won it, and they cracked the Jets, and they should not lose next week to the Dolphins. But it doesn't matter anyway because the Bills got to do what they got to do. And if they want the number 1 seed, it would pain me if the Patriots took the number 1 seed. It would pain me because that's something that we've been chasing for years. And the Patriots come in year 1 and take that. So maybe it's going to be Sean Payton and Bo Nix that takes it. Who knows? It's not our business anymore. It's just we're not there. And maybe it's not meant for us. Maybe sometimes we have to take the narrow road to the Super Bowl, right? The wide road was winning division and just chilling and resting and having the bye in the first week. But we now have to take the narrow road. The narrow road was get this the hardest way. But you know what I mean? Sometimes you respect a team that can do it out the mud. Wild card weekend, divisional weekend, AFC, and then go to town and get to the Super Bowl. So maybe that's the route that we have to take, and maybe that's where we'll go. So we'll go from there. All right, folks, that's my time. Appreciate you guys very much. I see we got some Eagles fans in here. We got some Eagles fans. Y'all can't be proud of that win, man. I'm gonna tell you that right now. A win is a win. Don't get me wrong, but y'all can't be proud of it because I'll tell you right now, I certainly wasn't the proudest of that Browns win. That Browns was an ugly win. But we'll take the ugly wins. But boy, was I not proud of that one. So it is what it is. We probably going to have to be the 1997 Broncos. Wild card team and win it that way. But kudos to the Eagles. Y'all won a good, fair, and square game. Tight game. But you guys did what you guys do. Major stops. And that's what counts. All right, folks, that's my time. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll catch you guys on the flip. Y'all enjoy yourself. And then we'll catch you guys all this week. And week 18 in the books. Golly, the season's almost over. The season is almost over. And y'all been hanging out with us all year long. We appreciate you guys. All right, I'm out of here. Peace.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.